so. Here's the deal. It's not often that we have, it is not often that on this set, on this stage, on that couch over there, very yellow couch, we get a music icon here. So this is a fun and a big day for all of us here on our staff. Our next guest helped change the world of music back in the late 70s and 80s thanks to his friendship and work with the one and only Prince. He was the... Yep. He was the drummer for The Revolution, giving us countless hits like this.
Say 2000 party overs, out of time. So tonight, party like it's 1999.
That is, of course, 1999, and you just saw our guest at the end of that clip. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the one and only Bobby Z, everybody. How you doing?
Good. Good to see you.
Good to see you. When you see that clip, I mean, we ingest it as fans. We ingest it as music connoisseurs. When you see that, what is your reaction, and what do you immediately think of years removed?
Heavy oil smoke on my contact lenses.
Bobby, really? That's
Yeah, it was at the Armory, actually. And back then, you know, video was just kind of a pioneering experience. So we had an amazing lighting designer who's gone on to do Lady Gaga and everybody, Roy Bennett. And back then, the smoke was kind of like insect fog. You know, it was kind of just an oil-based fog, and it was permeated your skin, your life. But I also remember that it was the moment when we kind of clicked and put it together. It was really a video renaissance for Prince, and he really studied behind the camera, and the video was stop motion. It was it was a great pice.
That's interesting you said that, Bobby, because as you well know, a lot of artists in that era were resistant to not ingest, but to welcome video. It was a threat. They weren't sure how to use this medium. Prince embraced it.
He did, and like everything else, rehearsed. So when you got to the Corvette, that dance now that is so famous, he knew that if he showed people that he could move like that in a video like that, that was going to work. And also, it was something that we practiced in front of the mirror. We practiced video. It was a visual. He taught you about yourself in a visual sense as well as an audio sense.
People, I said, we absorb the music video much differently than you do. We take in Prince very differently than you do. How do you take in Prince, and when you think of him, what floats to the surface for you?
Well, it's hard not to go all the way back. For me, it's still hard to believe that the whole world, all of you wonderful people, everybody, that it's that guy. That it's the guy I met at Moon Sound. Our lives interacted in a way that is just mystical and magical. My brother David did the demo at Sound 80, and Owen Husney was his manager. And Owen Husney used to deliver Chicken Delight to our house at 16, in a chicken hat. So all of the characters in the play are just kind of comical, but it turned out to be Prince, and it was songwriting. When I walked down the hall and I heard this glorious music, the glorious music never stopped, and that was just absolutely remarkable. So to answer your question, it's just remarkable, his talent.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Otherworldly.
And it's interesting they said that, because I thought you were going to say, and I think we feel it, I can't believe, and we're getting to the anniversary, I was sitting on this set with this show when we got the news, we were wrapping up a show. It is hard to believe, and this is such a cliche, Bobby, but it's still hard to wrap your brain around the fact that we're talking about him in the past tense.
It is. It is very different. To this day, it is what I call post-mortem. Now we're all living in this world where we're looking back when he made us all look forward. He thought if we look back, we'd turn into pillars of salt, right? Don't look at what I did. Don't listen to what I did. Only go forward. Well, now we we get a chance to look back at this remarkable man's life and work, and it's amazing that 200 years from now, people will have this conversation.
Absolutely. And weren't you? And Bobby's here. We're going to tell you about Celebration in a little bit later. And Bobby, did you take any? Because I was choked up. I live near downtown. I was amazed. I mean, you see music stars pass away, Whitney and MJ, but I'm getting chills thinking about it. The outpouring that night was something I don't think I will ever see again. Did that comfort you in any way to see that?
You know, it was very comforting that First Avenue was ground zero, and I think they did an incredible job of and the weather cooperated, and it was just a gorgeous night, and everybody was just free to come down. The police looked the other way. They just gave permits instantly to First Avenue, and things were set up, and that was glorious. But what you're talking about is the monuments of the world. The Eiffel Tower, the Sydney Opera House, the pyramids, everywhere was lit up in purple. And that really hit me in a way.
Yeah.
You just will never see anything like that again.
Never. And
Never.
It was instantaneous.
Yes, the outpouring was instantaneous and genuine for a man that kind of held us all at a little arm's length.
Yeah.
And now you were just so shocked and you wanted to show him so much love, and it was there.
You know what I think of? I think there are a lot of examples of this. Another cliche, you never know what you have until it's gone. I always think of Prince in this light because I think we appreciated him, all of his fans, but then when we lost him, I think when you're inundated with the coverage and you see the reel of his life and what he's done, he is the personification of you don't realize what we have until it's gone. I really do. Yeah.
You know, there's so much about that. You know, I do a simple calculation sometimes. So I met him in 1977, and he wrote basically kind of a song a day. And I knew him for 43 years until the very end. So if you take 43, even on the lightest, plus video, plus photo sessions, you got to go 43 times 365 to get to the number of songs and creativity output that this man, you're talking about 15,000 songs or more with videos, there's never been anyone as prolific as this. It was flowing like water.
Yeah. Well, like I said, Bobby's sticking around for a little bit longer. Don't go anywhere. After, we're going to talk to Bobby about his health following a heart attack 9 years ago. And you can help celebrate the life and legacy of Prince, like I said, later this month at Celebration 2019 at Paisley Park. Bobby Z will be performing, ladies and gentlemen. 4-day passes. Love that poster. 4-day passes are still available at officialpaisleypark.com. They also include a ticket to Prince in concert on the big screen happening at the Minneapolis Armory. Stay right there, everybody. More of Bobby Z when we come back. More with the great Bobby Z. We're back with Bobby Z. I said at the beginning of the show, I don't like to bother people, and I'm not going to sit here and act like I don't know Bobby Z. I've known Bobby for years. And a little fun fact that I've never said before is our connection was Bobby and Vicky's son Joey did movie reviews on my old show called The Weekend Buzz. And that's how it was very funny. We got to pull a clip eventually, but I know what happened to you. But for folks who don't, you made news around the world. Your health made headlines a couple years ago.
It did. I, at 55, about 8 years ago, had what was considered just a complete clogged heart. I had all three main arteries just blocked. And
Bobby.
I didn't, there's a real misconception that heart attacks are Hollywood clutch your heart thing. This took 3 weeks to develop. Ended up, I felt it in my elbows.
I was going to ask you where you felt it first, okay?
In the elbows. Eventually, Vicky just, said enough of this, going, and I was just the typical man, I don't even want to go to the emergency room. Let's go to the urgent care door. You're an idiot, when it comes to your own health.
Yeah.
And so immediately they recognized what was going on. But what happens is it eventually was like, duh, it connected. Then all of a sudden when it connected, it's too late.
Yeah.
So what I know now, when I did a test early on, and you have to get your blood checked. It's so simple. It's not expensive. It's not anything. Just get your cholesterol checked. These statin drugs that lower your cholesterol, just take them.
Yeah.
When you get older.
Just take them. Listen to Bobby. Just take them.
If you're borderline, it's not going to hurt you. A low dose of a statin isn't going to hurt you, and it could save your life. If you wait and if you say, well, I'm going to do a stress test or I'm going to do whatever, that's all great. But, most people won't go to the doctor. I wouldn't, I went kicking and screaming, literally almost to the end. So you have to be very careful of just your sensitivity to it. Not to be overreactive, but just realize that a heart attack can appear anywhere.
Yeah.
That it can appear in your wrist, in your elbow, in your jaw, in your back, So pay attention to the signs. I was very lucky. They were able to stent me, which is a little basket that I put in there with a balloon, open up the basket. A couple years ago, I had a stent move around, so I've got more. I've got a lot of metal in there. But, with the right meds and diet and a good doctor, I feel great.
And if you're watching this, us stubborn guys, that's why I wanted Bobby to talk about it. Us stubborn guys, I'm one of them. If you're watching and this relates to you in any way, go to the doctor today. Seriously. More with Bobby Z when we come back. We're going to talk about reuniting with the Revolution and the upcoming celebration at Paisley. We'll talk about that when we come back. Back after this. Was Vicky like, I told you so?
Such a shame our friendship had to end. Purple rain, purple rain. Purple rain, purple rain.
Yeah. That is Prince and the Revolution performing Purple Rain at First Avenue. The song came out, listen to this, 35 years ago this year. We're back. We're back with Prince's longtime drummer, friend, and musician, producer Bobby Z. I say 35 years. What's your reaction to that?
Oh, wow.
Does it feel like 35, Bobby?
In some ways, yes, some ways, no. When you hear the song, it doesn't.
No.
Because the song's still, Purple Rain was recorded live in a show at First Avenue in August 3rd, 1983. And that is a very rare thing that the master became, you can still hear some of the crowd noise in the song from the original recording and a lot of the original guitar playing and the drum track and a lot of things are authentic. I think that Purple Rain was kind of captured like lightning in a bottle. And when I hear it, it's still alive. The song lives and breathes like no other song. And on the other hand, 35 years have passed, and we all know what that means.
You're reunited. Talk to me about, we're going to show you how you can get tickets in a little bit. Talk to me about Celebration. How are you involved, and what can folks expect this year?
The Celebration, I like you said, I can't believe it's 3 years.
Yeah.
But it's a great interactive experience that Paisley Park puts on. The Revolution will play, but we also speak. I actually, this year I encouraged and kind of pushed him, but Bob Cavallo, the original manager of Prince during the Purple Rain days, is coming, and I'm going to do a one-on-one with him. And I did this at USC with him. And of course, we all know Purple Rain is Purple Rain.
Yeah.
But Bob got this movie made in Hollywood. And when he tells that story of how he got Prince's movie made, 1999 was a big album. But that's a pretty big leap to all of a sudden make a movie. And Bob Cavallo tells this story, and you just kind of, it's worth the ticket alone, just to hear how he got this made. So there's panels, there's great music, and there's the artifacts, and they pull out all the stops. There's a great movie at the Armory that Kirk Johnson, another drummer, put together. That's just fantastic. What I'm realizing is most people haven't got to see Prince live.
Yeah.
If you think about it now, it's a very finite number. When you see this movie, you realize what all the hubbub was all about. You know, the moves, the music, the showmanship, everything is just in front of your eyes, and you can't believe it. So that's a great event at the Armory. I believe Friday before, and then the panels are fantastic. They're educational, and just if you don't, that's the time to go to Paisley because they're going to bring out all the great memorabilia and all the artifacts.
What's it like when you get back with the Revolution? Do you feel? I love how you said "Purple Rain" is like alive. It's a song, but it's because I was watching the audience. That song comes on. Everybody moves. Everybody moves. Do you feel that? I don't mean to sound goofy, but do you feel that magic when you're back with your friends?
Yeah, and we've been playing a lot of shows, maybe 60 or 70 shows now, and Purple Rain is a knife to the heart. When Wendy hits the opening chords every time, it just gets you. It did when he was alive. He wrote a song that's a spiritual, inspirational. It's a gospel song, it's a rock song, it's a pop song, it's an R&B song. It captures so much emotion. That's tears. That's when you shed the tears. But you gotta, the thing about Purple Rain that's most amazing to me is that the climax of Purple Rain, the movie, is a down-tempo ballad. And that is, just think about that for a minute. The climax of a movie is a moment in time that just tugs at your heart. And it tugs at your heart still. When we play Raspberry Beret, Computer Blue, I think grief is now turning to celebration, speaking of celebration. So I think this year will be quite festive. I think people are ready to celebrate. And then, like I said, nostalgia will kick in 300, 400, 500 years like they still do for Mozart in Vienna. This is going to be happening. So get out to Paisley this year.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Once again, Celebration 2019, honoring the life and legacy of Prince, is happening April 25th through the 28th at Paisley in Chanhassen. Bobby Z will be performing. As I said, 4-day passes are still available. The website is at the bottom of your screen, officialpaisleypark.com, and they also include a ticket to what Bobby was talking about, Prince in concert on the big screen at the renovated, it's beautiful if you haven't seen it, the Minneapolis Armory. Ladies and gentlemen, Bobby Z, everybody. We'll be right back.